My name is Becca Chung, and my relationship to kidney disease is that I have Alport syndrome. I was diagnosed about 6 years ago, and I've had a transplant successfully for 6 years. I personally experienced drug-induced kidney injury to a small degree post-transplant. It was during that time that I discovered the word nephrotoxic, as many of the drugs that I had to take after my transplant were nephrotoxic, so they actually can hurt your kidneys at a high dosage amount. It took some time for me to find the right dosage in working with my transplant team. Obviously, I'm fine now and we hit the right levels. But after my transplant, there were a number of times where I ended up back in the hospital because there was too much of nephrotoxic drugs in my system. And so now I realize the more that universities or researchers can collaborate on their findings when it comes to biomarker data, I think it's incredibly important so that patients can be more aware about the impacts of drugs on their bodies, life-saving drugs, actually. So I think it's incredibly important that there's collaboration within the community. This workshop is incredibly important to me on a personal level because, well, first of all, I think education is empowering. And so I want to know more. I would love to learn more from the folks that are presenting. I would love to learn more about drug-induced kidney injury. I would like to be empowered in my own journey. I want to know what I can do to prolong my health, my kidney health, what I can stay away from, what are biomarkers that I should be aware of. And I think these are things that sometimes when you're in the doctor's office, you don't necessarily think of to ask your nephrologist or your doctor. And so having a workshop like this allows for patients, researchers, and doctors alike, and just our grander community that's attending to learn a bit more from other people that are in the field and to see what's the latest news when it comes to drug-induced kidney injury and in other biomarker data that might be available to us. I would love this community and researchers to know that I don't know if these are empty words, but it's incredibly important what you're doing. In grad school, I was doing some research on, some other things, and the results weren't what I wanted, and it didn't seem like I was doing a lot of impact. But sometimes when I take a step back, and I'm hoping you realize this too, if you take a step back and you realize the impact you have, it's really incredible to see the lives that you're actually changing, even if you're not in an actual doctor's office per se, and you're doing research, or you're a professor. You are changing lives by coming together and collaborating and sharing what you found. So people like me, just on the patient level, are deeply impacted by you doing what you do. So I suppose I want you to know that we're grateful. We, as in patients, me, myself, I know my family, my friends, my community, we're grateful for all that you do in terms of research and empowering patients like me to be a little more aware and educated about what we're going through and what we will go through.